We get 2 to 3 comments here on the channel every single day asking about specific franchises. Is this franchise good? Is that franchise bad? So I'm making this video to answer that question once and for all. I'll just post this link on the comments in the future. Now, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do. We're desperately trying to get to 100,000. So to start off, a while back, we did a video on what franchises we here at Franchise City all own. And guess what? Every single one of us, we all own different franchises. Not one of us has owned or owns the same franchise. Think about that for a second and ask yourself, why would that be? And I'll tell you, because if you want to make the most money, you need to do one thing that almost every buyer neglects to do. That one thing is to calibrate the franchise specifically to your unique situation. And there are 3 main points you need to consider: operator capabilities and preferences, long-term industry outlook, local market demand, and demographics. Now, have you considered all of those things before you buy? If not, you are just guessing. And most buyers, they invest in a franchise just because they like the tacos or something equally silly. They speak to one single company. They have no idea how much other franchises make comparatively. They do almost no research, and then they wonder why their franchise is struggling or eventually fails. Thousands of people fail every single year. We cover that in the book, The Dark Side of Franchising. You can get that on Amazon for $3 or download it free on the 15th of every single month. Remember, every franchise does well in some regions and not so well in other areas. That's your demographic alignment, your market demand research that you need to do. Every franchise has different operational requirements, what you're going to have to do day to day to make the business successful. And that might be B2B sales. It could be relationship building. It might be local networking, hiring, operations. Some businesses have a lot of pressure, high pressure. Some are low pressure. Every single franchise, their core business model pretty much has nothing to do with the actual service provided, like painting or cleaning, and has everything to do with building a business. Just because you know how to cook doesn't mean you should buy a McDonald's. Just because you know how to clean doesn't mean that you're going to be a successful cleaning franchise owner. You see, you hire those positions. Also, remember this, it's so important. Every single franchise out there has very successful operators at the top, the most successful, and they also have franchisees at the bottom who are struggling. And you're never going to know which one you might be until you align your operator capabilities. What are you good at doing? And you don't want to find that out, that you're more in alignment with the people at the bottom, after you've invested a bunch of money. Now, we've got a free tool, doesn't cost anything, at Franchise City that actually predicts future performance in a hypothetical business environment. Now, you want a franchise where your profile matches the people at the top, not at the bottom. Now, in this case, is this the best franchise? For the people at the top, it's great. At the people at the bottom, not so much. And every franchise, every single one, has people who struggle and people who are very successful. Again, is that the best franchise? It depends on who you are and where you live. Now, remember when we discussed the most profitable franchise making $28 million a year? That same franchise system has people that failed, right? Operator capabilities. So if you ask me, I can't tell you if a franchise is bad or good until I know more about you and your situation. Remember the videos we do, top 5 reasons not to buy a particular franchise. All that information is true, but in those franchise systems, they also have operators that are happy and doing well. And those franchises, the top 5 reasons not to buy, might be, in your situation, the best option out there. And finally, you need to look at the long-term industry outlook. And you can find these comprehensive industry reports online at companies like IBISWorld. Cost you about $1,000, but they are worth every single penny. Now, of course, this is another free item that we provide to people who are working with us here at Franchise City Get. And these reports outline a given industry's strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If the industry that you're exploring is facing headwinds down the line, it might make sense to consider other industries. And guess what? In addition to those top three, aligning your skills, local demand, and long-term industry outlook, there are multiple subcategories that you should consider as well. Exit strategy. Do you want to ultimately sell that business for a profit? Or do you want to operate it long-term? Certain businesses, usually those that have recurring revenue, are better options for resale, and you're going to be able to sell for more money. Do you want to work really hard and make a lot of money? Or do you need a passive franchise where you're doing no work at all and installing a manager? Do you want a semi-passive business where you keep your job and spend maybe 10 to 15 hours a week on that franchise? What's the local competitive landscape you need to look at? Who are you going to be competing against in the area? And do you have a sufficient market differentiator to outsell them? Now, only when you take the time, and this takes a lot of time to connect the dots, then you're going to be far more likely to be one of the franchisees at the top, not one of those struggling at the bottom. You're not just going to be guessing at this point. Now, wouldn't it be great if there was a free service that could help you determine all these factors and find the best franchise for your situation? Well, Franchise City Broker Group, that's exactly what we do. We've got highly experienced people to help you identify and research. Costs you nothing, and it's a better way to buy a franchise. Details right above. Visit us at www.franchise.city. Thank you for watching.